Alicia and Jacob. Today we're going to be making dog treats. Are we going to be making dog treats?
Yeah.
Today we're going to be making real meat dog treats. So if you want to know how to make it, just keep watching. Say keep watching.
Keep watching.
To make real meat dog treats, I use chicken breast, but you can use any type of meat or poultry that your dog would like, such as duck breast, fish, beef, lamb, or kangaroo meat, or the liver. This is optional, but you can also use some dog-friendly seasonings such as basil, sage, oregano, rosemary, ginger, garlic, or parsley. If your dog is allergic to something, you can leave it out, or you can just leave out seasoning altogether if you want to. You will also need a dehydrator or an oven that can have temperatures set as low as 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. So the first thing you're going to do is get some paper towel and take off as much moisture as you can off your piece of meat or poultry. The more moisture in your piece of meat, the longer it will take in the oven or dehydrator. You will also want to cut off any fat or sinew off your meat. So the next thing you're going to do is cut your meat or poultry into thin slices. And then just using some paper towel, just taking off any more moisture that you can off the piece of meat or poultry. Try and cut the piece of meat or poultry as thin as you can, because the thicker the pieces are, the longer it will take in the dehydrator or the oven. This part is optional, but you can also use some dog-friendly seasonings such as basil, sage, oregano, rosemary, parsley, ginger, or garlic. If your dog is allergic to anything, you can leave it out, or you can just leave out seasoning altogether if you want to. So if you do decide to use seasoning like I have, just use your hands to give it a little mix so you can coat the seasoning on all the pieces of meat or poultry of your choice. So the next thing you're going to do is put your pieces of meat or poultry on some trays. So if you're using a dehydrator like me, there will be trays already provided. If you're going to be using an oven, just use some baking trays. Try and make sure none of your pieces of meat are overlapped or touching. Do leave a little bit of a gap between each of the pieces of meat or poultry. So if you're using a dehydrator, you're just going to set it up, and if you're using an oven, you're just going to be putting the baking trays into the oven. And then just turn it on and set the temperature to 60 degrees Celsius. So this will take about 8 to 12 hours depending on what type of meat or poultry you use, how big or how thick the pieces are. So this took about 8.5 to 9 hours. You will know it's ready when it's completely dry and you can't feel or see any moisture in the piece of meat or poultry. So once they're done, put it in a bowl or a plate and let it completely cool. So this is what it basically looks like. So once they are completely cooled, you will have to store it in an airtight container or ziploc bags. Since there are no preservatives, you will have to keep it in the fridge or the freezer. So you can keep it in the fridge for a couple of weeks to a month, or you can keep it in the freezer for many, many months. So when using Ziploc bags and airtight containers, try and fill them up as much as you can. And when using the Ziploc bags, try and take as much of the air as you can out of the Ziploc bags. The more air that you have in the airtight container or the Ziploc bag can cause moisture. And when there is a lot of moisture, it can be reabsorbed by your meat or poultry that you have dried. Now for a taste test. Okay, stop. This your boy. Tony's sit. Slowly. Good girl. Slowly. Good boy. Okay. Sit. Shake. Good boy. High five. Good boy.
Mommy.
Shake. Good boy. High five. Good boy. Slowly. Slowly. Good girl. Well, I think that's about it. So thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Mwah, 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 mwah.